Vector editing. In this lesson, we're going to address understanding essential vector terminology, working with objects, and converting our raster images to vector objects by tracing. We want to recognize the essential elements of a vector object, draw simple shapes and lines using drawing tools, draw straight or curved path segments, transform objects using the selection tool, and adjusting our curves. We want to stack and reorder objects, create a clipping mask, and convert a raster image into a vector object using a tracing feature. Adobe Illustrator is one of the most popular vector editing programs. The lines in a vector image are usually called paths by most vector applications. A closed path refers to objects without a clear beginning and end, such as a circle, square, or rectangle, or any other shape for that matter. An open path refers to a path with a distinct beginning and end, such as a single, straight, curved, or wavy line. Each path includes one or more segments, which can be either straight or curved. The beginning and end of each segment on a path is marked by anchor points, sometimes referred to as nodes in certain vector programs. Distinct anchor points at the beginning and end of a path are referred to as endpoints. Anchor points along the path where the angle changes are called corner points. Anchors along a curve are called smooth points. The visible outline of a path is called a stroke or an outline. A fill is a color or pattern applied to the inside of a path. You can use the control panel in Illustrator to adjust the fill and stroke options. You can see to change the fill or stroke, you just click the arrow to the right of each control box. You can switch from the color panel to a manual color settings panel. You can adjust the stroke weight as well as access additional stroke settings beyond the weight. Shape tools are vector drawing tools that enable a user to draw common closed path shapes with ease and efficiency. When you draw with a shape tool, anchor points and segments are automatically added along the path of an object. You have a rectangle, rounded rectangle, ellipse, polygon, and star tool. A line tool draws open path line segments. Anchor points and segments are automatically added to objects that you draw with the line tool. The pen tool or Bezier Control in Corel Draw enables you to draw objects by placing anchor points one at a time. Drawing an object with a pen tool requires a series of clicks. You click once on the workspace where you would like the line to begin, and this places the anchor point. You move the insertion point to the spot where you want the line segment to end and click again. Another anchor point will appear and a line segment will connect the 2 points. To end the path in Illustrator, you press Control and click, or Command click on the PC. Control click on the PC or Command click on the Mac. To draw straight line segments, you set the first anchor point with the mouse click, which you see over here in Part A. You set a second anchor point with a mouse click, and then the line is drawn, which you can see here. And then you set 2 more anchor points and 2 more line segments are drawn. To draw a curved line segment, you click once on the workspace to set an anchor point. You move the insertion point and click again, holding down the mouse button and drag. You can draw either open or closed path objects with a pen tool. You can use the selection tools and bounding boxes, as a bounding box is an outline around a selected vector object that can be used to transform the object. You can use the selection tools and bounding boxes, and the selection tool and bounding box can be used to move, scale, resize, or rotate an object. And you can see here what you want to do and how you want to do it in the table. Transforming curved segments. In most vector programs, when you select a curved segment, lines, called directional handles, appear at the smooth points on that segment. Directional handles are used to shape curves on a path. The lines on directional handles are called directional lines and are capped at the end with directional points. You can click and drag the directional lines or directional points to reshape and/or resize a curve. Rearranging stacked objects. You can overlap or stack objects in a vector editing program by clicking an object with the selection tool and dragging it over the object. You can change the order of stacked objects, and you can select an object to reorder. A clipping mask is a vector object used to hide portions of lower objects in a stack, similar to a layer mask in a raster editing program. To create a clipping mask in Illustrator, you stack two or more objects, select them, and then choose Clipping Mask and Mask, not Make. The hidden parts of the lower objects are not erased by the clipping mask. Most vector editing programs include a feature that automatically traces bitmapped images and converts them to vector objects. You can scan a sketch into a bitmap file and place it in a vector document, or use a photo. Trace and convert it to vectors, and then use editing tools to adjust and finalize the image. Some key concepts to take away are that vectors are defined by open and closed paths, anchor points, and segments. Strokes and fills are what make a path visible. Shape and line tools make it easy to draw objects with a single stroke or click. Certain tools in vector applications enable you to draw a path by plotting anchor points one at a time, and selection tools can be used to select and transform a whole object or one segment or anchor point at a time. Bounding boxes appear around your selected vector objects and can be used with a selection tool to quickly transform them. Directional handles at smooth points on curved segments control the size and shape of the curve, and you can stack and rearrange your vector objects. A clipping mask is a vector object used to hide portions of lower objects in a stack, and a tracing feature converts bitmapped images into editable vector objects. If you have any questions, just let me know.